Hello my lovely friends, my name is Rue. How do you do? Welcome back to my channel. If you're seeing this video, that means we have surpassed 2,000 subscribers. What? How is this happening? I realize it's weird for me to make a video for another 1,000, but I'm excited and I wanted to, so that's what we're doing. So we're doing a Q&A. So I asked you guys to leave me questions and I'm gonna answer them. And I'm also going to tap on items because I was smart today and I put my phone on a tripod here so I can just see the questions and not have to hold my phone. So you get a trigger video as well. So let's just get started. I might put the question up here. Maybe I'll do timestamps. I'm gonna hate myself in the future for saying that, but that way you can go to your question if you want to just see your question. So let's start with a simple question. If you see me looking down, it's because my phone is right. Where's my finger? Right down here. Okay, question number 1. How did you get into ASMR and decide to make your first video? Well, I've been watching ASMR since 2017. That's when I first discovered it, and it was a huge help for me with insomnia and mental health stuff. To people who don't listen to ASMR, I feel it sounds dramatic, but it's such a good free tool, and it was honestly one of the few things that really helped me through a tough period. And that sounds dramatic, but and then ever since I started listening to ASMR, I've been listening to it literally every single day. And so I had thought about an ASMR channel. I was more in the sense of oh, I could do that. But I didn't really consider it as a reality until 2021, after I had to quit my job, after I got my autism diagnosis. I started my channel in February of 2022. After a few months of sort of recovering from burnout, I was okay, I'm ready to start something new. So I bought a Blue Yeti, and I eventually got up the courage to make my first ASMR video. And it was really difficult at first because all of this is so new. I didn't know how to edit videos. I didn't know how the Blue Yeti worked, or Audacity, or anything. So it was very intimidating at first, but once you do a bunch of videos, it gets so much easier. But yeah, so I started my ASMR channel because I wanted to see if this would go anywhere, and if I could eventually monetize my channel, and maybe it could be a source of income. And I'm so glad I did, because I love doing this. And I was able to monetize my channel at the beginning of this year. I don't really make a lot of money at the moment, hardly any, but you gotta start somewhere, and these things take time. So now I'm here. Step on something different. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be a long video. I'm rambling way too much. Okay. Let's do a more complex one. I love that you guys ask these super detailed questions. So this person asked, which do you think is the most foundational way humans relate to each other? Responsibility or freedom? And then in parentheses, they said, my existence entails responsibilities to other people, and I must limit myself around what I owe to others. Or my existence entails that I should act as a totally free agent, doing whatever I want to do, and others must work around me. So you're asking what the foundational way humans relate to each other, not how I relate to people. I think it depends on the person and the culture, right? Because some cultures are much more collectivist, and like in America it's much more individualist. So I feel like in America it's definitely probably the freedom, but like in other countries where it's more of a collectivist society, like I feel like it's probably the responsibilities. But I feel like we need a mix of both, right? Like you should take care of yourself and you do what you want, but you should also take into account other people's existence and like making sure you know, you're not harming anyone. I don't know if that answers your question, but I do feel like it depends. I don't think we're like built to be a certain way, but like we used to be much more like live together, work together type beings, right? Is individualism, is that more of a modern concept? I don't know. Interesting question though, thank you. Like that got me thinking. Okay, I'm kind of just doing these random. I did group some of them. So the next question is, what is your dream vacation? That's a hard question, right? I have so many places I'd love to go. But I think when I was a kid, I would have said Australia. Because it's just, there's so much wildlife and like interesting creatures that I've never seen before, and like I feel like there would be a lot of cool nature and just like something that's so far from what I'm used to. Like it would be really cool. The plane ride would be horrendous. Or like New Zealand. I feel like New Zealand is really beautiful, and the Lord of the Rings was filmed there, so. But then also, more recently, I really want to go to Europe. Like, I would love to, like, tour Europe. Like, go through and go to a bunch of countries and, like, experience the cultures and stuff. Like, that would be incredible. Yeah, that's a hard question. Like, because there's so many places I want to go, so many places I want to learn about, like. But I will go with those two options. Those would be very good dream vacations. Next question. If you could only eat at 3 restaurants for a year, what would they be? So this one, I feel like, am I getting the restaurant am I getting the restaurant food for free, or am I paying for it? Because if it's free, I would definitely include our local sushi. I can't talk today. Sushi place. Because it is so good, but it's so expensive, and so we only go there like once every few years, or like for a special occasion. But I could eat that like every day, but I cannot afford to eat it often. But oh my god, this place is literally the best sushi I've ever had anywhere. But outside of that, I would choose the places we go to quite often, because like, obviously I like to eat at them. We have like this local-ish sandwich shop that I really, really enjoy. So I'd probably include that one, because you can never go wrong with like a good sandwich and like some french fries. Like, so good. So we'll do that one. And then we also often eat at this like Mediterranean sort of style place. It is very good. So I'd probably include that one. And then if I wasn't gonna do the sushi, what would I do? Maybe a Mexican restaurant. We have this one that has like a salsa bar. So good. We used to go there like every single week. So that's probably a good choice. That's like a nice variety of foods, I feel like. So I'll go with that. So this question is coming from another autistic ASMR artist. They asked me, do you use ASMR as a stim? They said, I myself do so at times. And I was thinking about this question, and I'm like, do I? I've never really thought about it. But like, I guess like tapping is very stimmy, right? It's very like, even like on videos where it's about the talking, I'm like, I need something to tap on. So maybe in that sense, I've never really thought about it that way though. So that's an interesting concept. I'd be interested to hear like what you mean, like how you use them on your channel. So if you're watching this, feel free to let me know. Okay, I'm gonna switch triggers. Okay. The next question, is Ruth short for anything? No, it's not. It's kind of just something, a nickname I made up for myself. And I'm probably giving myself away right now, but it's not my real name. It derives from something I used when I was like in middle school as a like nickname. I gave it to myself, so it wasn't really a nickname. But I hope that doesn't make any things like weird that it's not my real name, but I do very much enjoy it as a nickname. Okay, again, another very specific question that I love because I feel like this person is probably very interested in this topic and I'd love to hear you talk about it. Okay, do you believe that NASA should launch a mission to extend the lifespan of the Hubble telescope, possibly extending its mission for another 20 to 30 years? Or should we just let the satellite decay its orbit, relying on the James Webb telescope for all our space telescope needs, and pocketing the savings for other projects? I love this question because I feel like you probably know so much about this, but I know like space is like something that's like, I feel like it just goes over my head, and I'm also like terrified of the thought of like being in space. And I feel like a lot of really smart people are into it, but I'm not, but I love listening to people talk about it. Like, the only reason I really know about this James Webb telescope is because of Hank Green. Like, he's into this stuff. So I like listening to him talk about it. But, I don't know. You probably know. I definitely don't. But I imagine, like, if the James Webb telescope can do all the things that the Hubble telescope can do, then yeah, why not just put it into the James Webb telescope? From what I understand, it can do a lot more stuff than any other technology we've had before, right? But yeah, I read this question, I was like, I love this, like... Okay, a few of you asked what my favorite movie was, and also genre. I have a difficult time with favorites. It's hard to choose. Also, I have a difficult time watching movies. I don't really like watching movies. They're too long. Like, it's too much of a commitment for me or something. I don't know. I do really like the Studio Ghibli films. They're freaking adorable. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go with Lord of the Rings. Because I was obsessed with Lord of the Rings when I was, like, in high school. It was an obsession. And, like, you can't... Like, I could watch it now and be like, this movie is fantastic. So, I'll go with Lord of the Rings. And as far as genre, like, I feel like I will watch just about anything except for horror. Cannot do horror or scary movies. And I'm not really into like action movies. I like movies that have sort of a twist, like an unexpected ending or something, you know. But yeah, I don't watch a lot of movies. I'm much more of a TV show person, so I know a lot of people have like comfort movies, but I just don't like movies that much. I feel like it's too much of a commitment or something. Okie dokie. What is your favorite type of book? At the moment, I'm really into historical fiction. So I feel like I'll go with that. But like historically, I've been very much like a fantasy person. I love fantasy. So I don't know. And I will read just about anything. Like, I got some murder mysteries over here that I'm gonna read at some point. But at the moment, I think my biggest book interest is historical fiction, so we'll go with that. And then this next question is also book related. They said, if you wrote a book, what would it be about? And this is interesting because I've actually thought about if I were to write a book, what it would be about. I don't know why, because I will very likely never write a book because it's not, my best skill or anything. But I think I would write a fiction book with an autistic main character. I don't know what it would be about, but I know I love reading books where I can relate to the main character, and I feel like we need more neurodivergent fictional characters. So I've thought about it, and I even started brainstorming the character's name and stuff. Yeah, I think it would be something with neurodivergent, maybe queer characters, because I just want to see more representation out there. And I'm not really interested in a nonfiction book because I don't feel like I could contribute anything into the world that doesn't already exist. So yeah, I have thought about it. I don't know why, but I have. So that's what it would be, I think. A fictional book story about neurodivergent characters. Just get some representation out there, What is your favorite animal? Again, with the favorites, I'm not good at the favorites. Especially animals, because I love all animals. I can find something to love about any creature. Okay, I switched triggers. Favorite animal? I don't know if I can pick one. I do really love opossums. I love cats. I love all the animals. I could do a deep dive into literally any species of creature. That's difficult. So difficult. I love them all. So I'm sorry. I do enjoy opossums quite a lot, so maybe I'll go with that. If you could be an animal, which animal would you be? Okay, so I feel I'm trying to think quality of life here. A really spoiled cat. Living with someone who would put me on a leash and take me outside, on adventures hikes. That would be good. That would be a good life. Cats are pretty get to do whatever they want. And wild animals, I'm trying to think. We have these Canada geese that live near our house, and they're hilarious. And I've told my fiance I think it would be a really good life to be a Canada goose because everybody's scared of you. They stay away from you. You have food everywhere. They eat grass. It's everywhere. You eat, you honk at people, you go float in the river for a while. I feel like they probably have really good lives. And then, I also listened to a podcast about bats recently, and apparently they have an adaptation that prevents aging. And also they aren't really affected by viruses. They carry viruses, obviously, but their immune system isn't really affected by viruses. And they live a long time for their body size. They live a really long time. So maybe a bat. Yeah, one of those maybe. If you were a cat, what color would you be? What color would I be? What color would I be? What color would I be? I saw this really cool. Okay. We watched this live stream of this cat rescue called FFRC. You should look them up. They're adorable. And we I knew all their cats by name. but they had this cat named Raggles, and he got and she got adopted. But she was this like Siamese. She looked Siamese, but she also had bits of calico on her, and she was freaking gorgeous. I want to be her. I want to have her markings. And she also had like white, I don't know what it's called. Like when a Siamese has also like white bits. She was gorgeous. And blue eyes. She had blue eyes. I want to be her. It was the most beautiful cat I've ever seen in my life. Next question. Do you believe in the supernatural? And have you had any experiences? I want to believe, but I don't think I do. And I've never had any supernatural experiences. Like, if a ghost wants to, like, be like, hey man, here I am, I'm real, like, that'd be cool. But I've never had that kind of experience. And I feel like I'm very logically minded and like scientifically minded, and when I think too much about it, like, it just doesn't make sense for that stuff to exist. But I want to believe, I want to believe that ghosts and stuff exist, but I just haven't been given any evidence that's compelling. So like, it would be really cool. It would be really cool if it did, but I just don't think it does. Because, like, if there were people ghosts, wouldn't there be, like, bug ghosts and, like, cat ghosts? But then maybe only the species can see their ghosts. I just think it's funny that as humans we think we're, like, so important that we come back as ghosts. And, like, no other species does? I don't know. But, like, no, I don't, but I want to. I want to see a ghost. I want to see something weird and supernatural, but I never have. Okay. So I believe the rest of the questions are all kind of like autism related questions. I kind of grouped them together. So the next question is, what are some of your favorite sensory experiences? I feel like my favorite sensory experiences are visual. Like just when I'm out on a trail and just like seeing the sun shine through the leaves, or like speckle on the moss, and like that stuff makes me feel so like euphoric. That's the best. I also like when you find the perfect song and it just makes you feel a certain kind of way, you know? And then you repeat it over and over and over again. That's a good one. That's a good sensory experience. I also used to really like swimming. I feel like swimming was a sensory experience. Like, I really liked being underwater. So yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, those are the ones that come to mind. So we'll go with that. What is your biggest special interest, and what do you find most interesting about it? This is hard for me because I don't feel like, you know, a lot of my life I had very specific special interests that I would research constantly and like do constantly. Okay, I switched triggers really quick because we're like almost done. I was like thinking about this question and I was like, what? So like, I'm really into fitness, hiking, all that stuff. I would say that's definitely a special interest, but at the moment, like, it's not something I like research, you know, like I'm not like reading about it constantly and stuff. But I was thinking about it, and I think the thing that I like deep dive the most about is autism. Which is like, I almost wish I didn't, because sometimes it's very stressful. But that is something that I think about a lot, read about a lot, watch a lot of videos about, talk about a lot, obviously. And I feel like this is a common experience for late diagnosed autistics, to make autism a special interest. And like, I'm not super happy about it, but like, also, I mean, it's good to know these things, but I think that is probably like the biggest special interest right now. What do I find most interesting about it? I mean, you know, it's learning about myself and whatnot, and also getting to talk to you guys about it. So like, I guess also since I do like an autism series on here, I'm like thinking of things to talk about, and then I research and deep dive, and and I get to share with you guys. Past special interests. When I was a kid, very into animals. I think rats were the the first really big one. Was constantly reading, researching, had pet rats. Love them so much. Would love to have more. And then horses. Horses took up a big chunk of my life. Like, it was all I did, all I thought about. I wanted to do it for a job. Like, yeah, that was a big one. And then I was really into running, researched running a lot, researched when I got injured. I got really obsessed with rehabbing injuries, like reading about injuries and stuff like that. And fitness and running and hiking, and those are really big interests for me. But as far as like something I research a lot, it's autism. Which, like, I need to find something new that I'm really into that's not about my own experiences, because sometimes it's just too much. Did you find it traumatizing growing up with undiagnosed autism? I don't think so. I feel like I had a pretty decent childhood. Like, all things considered. I think it was more traumatizing being an adult with autism. Because that's when things got tricky. My childhood, I would say, was pretty decent. Like, obviously there were struggles I had, more so in like middle school, high school. But nothing I would say was traumatizing. It wasn't until I got into the quote-unquote real world that it became traumatizing. Yeah. What's your favorite STEM toy you own? You know, I actually haven't really found one that I am into, really, but I also haven't tried a lot. So, just because it's a money thing, like, I don't want to spend money on stuff that I don't necessarily need. So, but like growing up, or like being undiagnosed, you find STEM toys that are normal. So like, my necklace has always been like a STEM toy for me, and I never realized until recently that that was why I was doing that. But like, I've been wearing a necklace for like my entire life. I've always had to have something on my neck to fidget with. And like, when there's times like where a necklace is broke and I'm not wearing anything, I'll like reach up and be like, there's nothing here. And it's like stressful. But I feel like the necklace, I fidget with the necklace a lot. And then I also had like the anxiety stems, I guess you could say, like the leg bouncing, and like, I'm just like constantly moving my body. So yeah, I don't really use STEM toys a lot, but I haven't tried a lot, so I would love to one day have more. I really want the slug thing. That, like, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but that looks really fun. But yeah, I can't help much with finding new STEM toys because I just don't have a lot. I did try a ring, like a spinny ring, and it was kind of fun to like fidget with, but I don't like rings, so that was a problem. But I did try that. Okay, next question. How did you navigate life not knowing you were autistic before your diagnosis? I mean, the best I could. The interesting thing is, looking back on my life, is that I was accommodating for my needs without knowing why they were there. Like, I was working jobs that were my special interests. I was only doing part-time work. I was going to school for things I was interested in. I was also very good at like knowing my limits and knowing when to quit. And I didn't feel a lot of shame about it because I was like, well, this isn't the road for me. I need to find something different. And I was very good, and I was constantly moving on to a new thing because I would get overwhelmed. Like at one job, it'd be like, all right, time to move on. So I think that's how I managed to not like get into really bad burnout. Oh, and then the other big thing is that I lived with my parents for a really long time. Like I didn't live on my own for any extended amount of time until I was 20, I think 27. So like that's huge. Not having to pay rent. I could just work part-time jobs, and like I didn't have this huge demand of like having to pay all these bills and work a full-time job and stuff. So that was huge. So it wasn't until I started, I lived on my own, I had a full-time job, and all of these things piled up and I just couldn't handle it, so that's how I navigated life. Like I've always been very I don't know, go against the full flow, independent minded, like this is what's best for me, I don't care what anyone thinks sort of person. So like I think that's I didn't stay anywhere I didn't feel was good for me, and like I don't know. That's how I got by. Eventually I want to do a whole like video about my diagnosis story. It's just so big, like because it's my entire life, right? But eventually, I'd like to elaborate more, but I don't know when that'll be because it's so big. It's a lot. I don't feel like I can sum it all up in a video, but I'll probably eventually try to. Anyways, I believe that is all the questions. If I missed your question, I'm sorry, but I think I got them all. So thank you guys who asked questions. Like, this wouldn't be a video without you. And there were so many good questions. Thank you guys for supporting my channel. We're past 2,000 subscribers. What is happening? It's crazy. I love you guys so much. I love this channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And this video is gonna be long, so I should shut up. Okay. Goodbye, my friends. I will see you in the next video.